Welcome to another video. I decided to bring my macro lens out to the local scrub jay park. One disadvantage of living in Florida is you don't get the colors that you do up north, other parts of the country. It's kind of green and brown in these areas most of the year. So you don't get a lot of flowering plants the way you might up north, the eastern seaboard. So you take what you can get and you try to find little things. I brought my macro lens out. It's beginning to rain on me a little bit. But if I find something, we'll focus in on it and see what we can do. Certain times of the year, you get these leaves like that one. These over here, and when they start to go bad, maybe like this one over here, sometimes you can get a good image out of that. I'll put one up on the screen that I took a couple of years ago that I made into a black and white. If you haven't gone and seen the video where I talk about how to get rid of haze out of an image, in there I show you a tip on how to put a platinum gradient map over top of some of these. And that's what I did with that little leaf. Has a platinum gradient map over top of it. And then you also get kind of these. You get these. Once in a while you'd be able to find a backlight. These ferns, you might get something interesting out of that. But you really have to search in this nature park. I'd say 90% of the time I come out here, I don't really get much, if anything. I'm not really a good woodlands photographer. I know if you look at some of the British photographers, and there's one or two in America as well, that are excellent woodland photographers. That's just not me. I'm not quite as good at it. Try to be better, but I'm just not. We have a local airport, so sometimes you get people training with the little planes, single engine planes coming out of the airport. In fact, if anybody knows their history, the 9/11 guys trained at the airport not far from where I live. Lucky us, huh? So anyway, I'll keep searching, see what we can come up with. The one thing this park does have, which is kind of interesting, fun to see, it's a reserve for gopher tortoises. And they usually don't get this far out of their hole this time of day. But, as you can see, say hello, you're on video. You doing okay today? He's just wandering on through. So it is always fun to see the tortoises. One of these days I'm going to get my grandson down here. Oh, it looks like his nest is over here. But they just come out and eat the plants. But like I said, usually in the heat of the day you don't see them too much. Say hello. No? Alright. He didn't want to talk. Alright, so that's a gopher tortoise. As I was saying, because you don't get a lot of color in here, and most of the area is pretty dense. It's hard to find, at least for me, decent compositions. The idea would be to find a tree or two that's out in the open by itself, and you get that big sky, open sky with the big puffy clouds, and make a black and white out of it. But there's just not a lot of areas, if any at all, where there's one or two trees. So I tend to look for small leaves like this where I can take macro shots. Vines, leaves that are backlit, and try to find something from there. There is a time of the year, in the winter I think normally, where you get a couple of different plants that bloom for not long, only a few days to a week. If you miss it, you miss it. But anyway, I'll keep looking. I don't have my wide angle lens with me, but I'll bet a good woodland photographer in the right light could get a composition out of that right there. Coming all the way down. Use this as your foreground. There's a lot of little gnarly kind of trees. One of these days I'll work on becoming a better woodland photographer and do that. A lot of airplanes today. I didn't get a chance to shoot the rest of that video on location. It started to rain. I packed up and got out of there. I guess the point to the video is that you don't have to go out to big vistas, big mountains. You can just go down the street to a little park and shoot the leaves, or find some bugs, or whatever you can find. You don't necessarily have to take a macro lens, obviously, for that type of photography. It's easier. And I know people say it all the time, but it is true. You don't always get a portfolio shot. But if you're happy with it, who cares, right? You got a time to walk around in nature for a little while, spend a little time outside, walk around for a few miles, get a little bit of exercise. Nothing wrong with that. Sniff the fresh air, enjoy yourself, take some shots, come home, put them on your computer, and see what you got.